Story 1. Philips Sonicare Toothbrush. Forces me to brush for 2 minutes and vibrates every 30 seconds to let me know to switch which part of my mouth I'm on. Also flossing. Living life without fearing the dentist changed my life. I always leave with compliments. Story 2. Spend your money on good things that separate you from the ground. This means your mattress, your car tires, your shoes, etc. For under $100, we can easily get multiple pairs of high-quality socks or 2 really good pillows with change to spare. Story 3. Believe it or not, a good shaving brush and shaving soap can make a difference. I spent about $35 on a synthetic shaving brush from West Coast Shaving and about $8 on shaving soap from the Genuine Bay Rum Company, and my shaves have been fantastic. It also saves me money compared to canned shaving cream and gels. Secondly, switching to a double-sided safety razor saves me money over expensive cartridges. Story 4. There are definitely several. Asterisk an extra 10mm socket. Asterisk an agility ladder. Asterisk a legal quality hunting knife to carry with you for personal protection, opening boxes, cutting rope, and other random utility. Asterisk a 90-degree drill attachment. Story 5. A pull-up bar. I'm not a gym goer, but a bar bolted to the wall over the room doorway doesn't interfere with furniture and space and always challenges your laziness. Story 6. If you struggle with sleeping, try melatonin. At some point, I felt I was going to have a stroke from the headaches caused by not sleeping well. I started drinking this, and now I'm always so well rested, and I can be a better adult now. Story 7. Mala beads, also known as yogi beads or Buddhist prayer beads, are usually less than $20. When I get angry or frustrated, I can be very scary or sometimes mildly violent, banging my fists on counters or other inanimate objects. I don't want to be scary, and I want to handle whatever is making me angry or frustrated with my head on straight. Otherwise, I'll just stay angry. My beads are not a religious item to me anyway. For me, they are a self-regulation tool. There are 108 beads on mine, with one big bead that stands out from the others. I use them like a timer, which is measured in breaths. I take one deep breath for each bead from the big bead all the way around and sit still and close my eyes, almost like I'm going to take a nap, which is why I don't lie down when I'm self-regulating. 108 deep breaths is definitely enough of them to calm me down, whatever is going on. It was a game changer after I started having symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. My anger was always just below the surface, and it was impacting my connection to the people in my life. When I started making sure I always had my beads with me, I made sure if I felt my anger boiling, I'd step away from others long enough to breathe for at least some of the beads. There was the added benefit that after some time, my brain started to associate the beads with being calm, and they had this calming effect every time I touched them, even if I was angry but couldn't get away from people. They're kind of like a talisman now, just a little bit of peace and quiet I can carry in my pocket wherever I go. Story 8. Bidet attachment is $40 and 15 gross minutes of toilet work, but your life will never be unpleasant again. Whoever still thinks dry paper sanding is the best method needs a sit-down PowerPoint presentation while taking a test drive. Story 9. A bidet for me has been a huge blessing. Lux Bidet Neo 180, self-cleaning, dual nozzle, non-electric bidet attachment for toilet seat, adjustable water pressure, rear and feminine wash, lever control, blue. Only for $50 on Amazon. Story 10. A water bottle. It is a physical reminder to drink water. It just sits around my house. I see it. I fill it up. I drink it. My skin has never felt better, and my lips are no longer chapped. Story 11. For $0 you can buy no sweets. Your mouth and bank account will thank you for it. For your information, fillings are good for about 10 to 15 years and then need to be drilled out and replaced. Eventually, you may need root canals done. Have 2 root canals done. Another root canal may be needed in 5 years. Further root canals will probably be needed in 30 years after the other fillings have been replaced twice. Story 12. An air purifier. I bought a Levoit Core Mini on Amazon at the beginning of this year for about $50. I think easily the best $50 I ever spent. You never realize how unclean the air you breathe is until you get access to clean air all the time. The next best thing would have to be the Philips Norelco Multigroom hair trimmer or whatever it's called. I think I paid $70 or $80 for it, but use it to cut my own hair, trim all facial hair, trim my pubic area, and so on. Story 13. Safety razor. As a guy with really thick facial hair, regular razors would get clogged and cause razor bumps. Nothing worked, not the gimmicky 5-blade or vibration ones, but an old-fashioned single-blade safety razor. I can literally just put shaving cream on my beard and cut through it to clean shaven with no issues. To top it off, blades are super cheap, or if you're really down on your luck, you can sharpen them again. Story 14. How many times will this question be posted all over Reddit? A bidet is always going to be an answer. I remember that much at least. No offense, original poster. I've just seen it 5 times this week. Story 15. In my thread, I want to share my brother's story on his behalf about how much the keychain from the market changed his life. This is not entirely on topic, but I think in the end you will understand the meaning. While walking with my younger sister, we passed by a counter with all sorts of unnecessary things. She really wanted to buy herself all sorts of stationery for school, and I really liked one keychain with an anime character. At that time, I didn't know who it was, but later my future wife told me that it was the character Gray from Fairy Tail. My sister said that I was very similar to this character and that I had to buy it. For some reason, I thought this was a good idea, although I have never watched anime. But it cost $2, and I thought it wasn't that burdensome. The next day, I came to college, completely forgetting about my purchase from yesterday. It was in my trousers pocket. During recess, I was calmly walking along the corridor when I heard a roar behind me, and before I could turn around, I was carried away by a red-haired girl with glowing fiery eyes. It was like in some movie because according to the cliché, her things spilled out of her bag, and I helped her collect them. She apologized very much and constantly repeated that she was very late. Having collected almost all the things, she ended up with a keychain in her hands, the same as mine. "It's not mine," she said. I checked the pockets and already confidently said that it was mine. Her already burning eyes lit up even more. She squealed with joy. She said that she loves this anime and doesn't have like-minded people to discuss the plot and review it together. She asked if I was a fan, and I just nodded uncertainly. I couldn't resist those eyes. She jumped in place again and asked for my phone number so we could watch Fairy Tail together. I was a little confused, but still accepted the offer. I gave her a keychain. She was glowing with happiness, and we agreed to meet over the phone later. We often saw each other and watched anime at her house, and I was very good at pretending that I had already watched it. Of course, later I admitted that I watched it for the first time, but only after she became my wife. I couldn't even think then that some $2 keychain would make me happy for the rest of my life. We have been married for 5 years. Our daughter will soon be 2, and she will definitely watch this anime. I know this is somewhat off topic, but $2 has truly become a major factor in my happiness. And I still can't understand whether this is fate or just an accident. What do you think? Story 16. A good knife sharpening stone. If you cook, having sharp knives is such a major thing that you cannot go back to serrated or those stupid draw-through sharpeners once you experience a properly sharpened chef's knife. A good stone costs about $30, lasts decades, and will keep your kitchen knives razor sharp. Story 17. This is particularly aimed at Americans, but really this applies to anyone, especially anyone who lives in a very large country where driving long distances is common. Portable air pump for your tires and a portable battery jumper. These have saved me while alone on the road with no cell service a few times, and altogether, they will cost you only around $80 to $150. Story 18. Bidet. But honestly, I would save up and get a fancier model with a heated seat and water, soft close lid, dryer, etc. Around $250 is the sweet spot. Also, a skincare routine. Head over to Skincare Addiction for advice. Taking care of your skin is important so you look healthier. And a gym membership. Story 19. Throw out every one of your socks. Yes, even the ones that are still good, that are still in pairs. You will probably get rid of a lot of single unmatched socks along the way. Every one of them goes away. Then go to Costco and buy completely new sets of dress socks and athletic socks. Everything will be new and matching, and you will love the feeling for the next year until you start up with single socks again. Story 20. Breaker bar with deep socket for your lug nuts. In the winter, you don't want to be stuck out in the cold with the small tool that comes with your vehicle. Sometimes those nuts get seized or over-torqued. Also, a pump that plugs into the 12-volt outlet on your car is a nice thing to have for cheap as well. Story 21. Read the text below and correct spelling errors. Search and replace all acronyms. Correct punctuation, remove special characters, and links to best suit Azure Text to Speak AI. Output only content. No yapping. Text. Old Reddit. Ask men. What life-changing item can you buy for less than? Men, what life-changing thing can you buy for less? What's an item you spent $100 or less that has? What can you buy for less than $50 that will? What's an item under $100 that's changed your life? What can you buy for less than $75 that will? Guys, what $100 or less purchase in the past 6 months? What purchase under $100 improved your life? What purchase for $100 or less has impacted your life? Story 22. Yamaha Series 300 Plastic Alto Recorder. Completely chromatic as are all recorders. Very good sound and intonation for the price. A wooden recorder of the same quality would cost almost 10 times as much. Very easy to care for with a vast repertoire, especially in the Baroque era. Not a toy, but rather a full-fledged musical instrument. Very challenging to play well, but well worth the challenge. There are professional concert players, so it certainly can be a lifetime endeavor. Check YouTube. Story 23. A carbon steel skillet. Top-of-the-line mat for Bourgeat runs about $60. It's more durable than cast iron, yet because it has less mass you can control the temperature better, and it heats up faster. Carbon steel is the pan you will see in every professional kitchen. It even has an extended handle. It rests under your forearm, and you grip it closer to the pan so you can easily pan flip the food. Story 24. Condoms. Can opener. Oven pan. Cell phone charger. Floor or desktop fan. Cologne. Toothbrush and paste. Razors or electric shaver. Ball trimmer. Bicycle. Toilet paper. Story 25. Shoe extender. They are less than $20 and have been great for me. They speed up the break-in time for new shoes and have even made a few uncomfortable shoes very wearable. I haven't had an issue with a new pair of shoes since I got one a few years ago and really cannot recommend them enough to folks. Story 26. An outdoor collapsible wagon. Do you need to lug stuff around for sports? Check. Do you need to bring in a Costco or Sam's Club load? Boom. Do you like camping but hate making multiple trips to the vehicle to load and unload? Covered. I never would have thought I would use one this much, but I have proven myself wrong over the last 2 years. I even used the wagon to haul my 13-foot kayak around with some careful planning of ropes. You could also use one of those hand trucks that convert to a wagon-like configuration if you want something that can handle more duty. It is just not as acceptable in public. Story 27. Now hold on a minute. Before we go much further, give me a dime so I can buy a condom. If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on. Sugar, let me know. Story 28. Heated mattress pad AeroGarden. If these in fact cost a little more than $100, I'd like you to look between your ring and your index finger, and you'll eventually deduce how I feel. Story 29. A multi-tool. Granted, the one I have now costs more than $100, but you can buy a decent one. It saved me from having to dig around for scissors, screwdrivers, or a knife loads of times. Story 30. Brita purifying water bottle. I carry it with me. I traveled around with it for 6 months. Probably conservatively helped me lose about 15 pounds. I used to drink Coca-Cola like crazy. Now water all day is the only way. Currently $16.90 on Amazon. Story 31. Cookbook and cooking lessons. There isn't an easier way to impress a girl than to invite her to dinner. You end up cooking and skating because she knows you can provide everything she needs. Food, a house, stability, and self-control to learn a skill. Story 32. If you cook, a meat thermometer. Get an instant read and a wireless. If you drive, Rain-X washer fluid, and the nice wiper blades. If you hike, a hiking kilt. Being wicked good slippers. Story 33. A gym membership, trust me. I can go deep into it, but I'm at the gym and it's a Muay Thai gym. In 5 minutes, I start to train, and this changed me, man. Story 34. There is some software like Nova Launcher, which was $2 or something. That changed my life in a meaningful way when you just think of how much time I spend on my phone. My first Android phone, under $100, introduced me to the world of sideloading and new pipe and revanced. Story 35. I bought a cheap little table fan from AliExpress and no longer live in fear of the air conditioning at my work deciding to randomly stop working for an hour. Best investment of my career.